Hey guys, Eric here at the Bethlehem Golf Club. Want to talk to you today about how the pros get that perfect impact position and go through the differences between what they look like at setup and impact and give you a really good visual to take with you when you practice. Now, before we dive into that, and what's going to supplement you getting good at what we're going to talk about today is live view golf. Now, hopefully some of you guys have seen our videos and have seen what live view can do. It is what we use for video feedback. In order to get yourself from the impact position or from the setup position to the impact position of these pros and know if you're even doing it correctly or not, you have to use feedback. And the best form of feedback is through video. Now, the best form of video feedback is watching yourself simultaneously as you do the movement. That means watching yourself live as you're doing it. It is by far the best form of feedback I've ever used before. Watching yourself on your phone is one thing, but a whole nother level to see yourself as you do it. The best way to do that is through live view golf. In my opinion, if you're actually serious about changing your golf swing and taking your game to the next level, it is non-negotiable. Can't highly recommend it enough. We'll put a link for live view in the description down below. It's what I use to improve my swing. You guys should do the same thing. I know it will help you, so check out live view. So let's talk about the differences between the setup and impact positions. Now, what we wanted to do in this video here was kind of do it a little bit different and show you a bunch of different stills that we'll pull up of really good golf swings. Just happen to be the best players in the world, but kind of give you a visual side by side of what they look like at address and at impact. And while a lot of them sort of swing the club a little bit differently in space, they all seem to kind of come back to more or less the same spot. Now, before we show you those series of pictures here, I want to tell you and kind of point you in the direction of what I want you to look for and what you're going to see so you don't miss it. You guys will watch those videos, you'll see the visuals, get what we're talking about. Then we'll come back and we'll talk about how to implement that. Hey, now that you know what you're doing, how do you actually put that into your game? Now, before we pull those guys up there, what are some of the things we're looking for? Now, as we pull these up, this could be a study on how they set up, right? We're not going to go through that as much, but you will see a lot of different, a lot of setup things that are similar. Their balance points will be the same, their general posture points, arm hang, butt of the club, things like that. But we have PGA Tour checkpoint for that. What I really want you to see is how their body is different in space. If we just use those two pictures and talk about where they start and where they get to, I want you to see how they look different. This is the same way if we were gonna go somewhere and I was going on a trip to Florida, let's say, like me getting to a certain spot, I need to know where I'm ending up, right? For me to have the best chance to get to a good impact position, my brain, I wanna know where I'm trying to go to. And I think a lot of us maybe don't even know what we're trying to get to, or even if we do, we don't really know how to feel it. What I've found true in my in-person or online lessons is some people might know, hey, I'm supposed to be open, I'm supposed to be down, et cetera, but they don't really know how to feel that. And if you don't know how to feel a pose, let's say you couldn't even, let's say you and I are here and we can't really pose an impact and we don't know what that feels like, what are the odds that our brain is gonna get there? The same way if I don't know where I'm going to in Florida, what are the odds I'm just gonna go south? It doesn't work though, you need to know where you're going. So what you're gonna see in these videos, and some of them do some little things differently, but a lot of them have the same things in a couple key areas. Number one is body rotation. So when I take my setup position here, my body is going to be more or less parallel to the target. Feet, knees, hips, shoulders. Some of them a little open, some of them a little closed, but basically they have no rotation. Now, when we look at the picture at impact, they're no longer, their bodies aren't facing the ball. Their belt buckle and shirt buttons are not facing the ball like at address. They now are, you'll see, more open. Their hips, right, or their pelvis is more open. So their belt buckle goes from at the ball to pointed in front of the ball a few feet. Okay, that's number one. You're gonna see their rib cage and their torso. They are no longer perfectly square at the ball. Not only does their pelvis open up, their rib cage and their upper body also is more open. You'll see that amongst all of them. And you'll also see a difference in the trail arm. Okay, so when I take my normal setup position, you'll see their right arms are not perfectly straight. They have a slight amount of bend to it. Now watch their arms from how they set up into impact. You'll see just about all of them, the right arm will increase the amount of bend it has, and also you'll see more of the left forearm at impact than you did at setup. Can you see that there? They bend their right arm more. So we know they open their pelvis, okay? Their belt buckle's pointed forward, probably most of them 20, 30, 40 degrees. So go from 0 to 20, 30, 40 degrees. Their rib cage goes from square to open. Their shirt buttons go from square to open. Their right arm bends more, okay? Now, as I do that in space, we also know, which sometimes is hard to see, that their forward bend, their tilts, etc., those sort of things are changing. But those are the three things I want you to look for. They open their pelvis, they open their rib cage, they bend their right arm. Now think about that. If I stand here normal, and this is my address posture, and I bend my right arm more, okay, like this, now that makes my club come up in the air. So I have to go down to make up that difference, right? You'll also notice not only does their right arm bend more, their right wrist bends back more than at address. At setup, their right wrist is pretty flat. At impact, it's bent a little bit. Now, how could they get to a ball from there? And again, I wanted to explain this because you're not going to necessarily see this in the video. If my right arm bends more and my right wrist bends more, that club just got a lot farther away from the ground. So also what you may not see is that their bodies got closer to the ground. They added right side bend and they added forward bend. So if you kind of drew a line on the top of their head at address and you drew a line on the top of their head at impact, they also went down or got closer to the ground. Okay, so let's kind of put these things together. Their hips opened, their rib cage opened, their body went down towards the ground and their right arm bent. Their hips opened, their rib cage opened, their body got closer to the ground and their right arm bent. So their impact position is going to look something like this. Now, if you go through that and you record yourself with live view, you might feel like you're like this, okay? It's going to feel like you're way open and way down. And probably you're gonna look pretty darn good if normally you stand up or anything like that. So those are the pieces to check for. Check out these images, see how their pelvis is, see how open they are, see the right arm bend, see how they go down in space, and then we'll come back and talk about how to put these in your own swing. All right, guys, so now you've seen these images here. Let's talk about how to actually put those in there in your game. Now, ideally, when you watch those, you should have seen those three things pretty easily. You should have seen that the body opened up a lot more and the trail arm got a lot more bent. What's not easy to see in those still images, because we don't have lines on there, is the fact that they did go down as they opened up, okay? So really there was like 4 to 5 things we said. Let's just recap that quick here. Normal setup position, hips open, rib cage open, my body goes down, my chest goes down, and my right shoulder goes down as my right arm gets bent. So your impact position is going to look and feel like this. Again, during their downswing, last time I'll say this, they increase their forward bend. They're going down towards the ground with their chest in the first half of the swing, and they increase their right side bend. That's how, when I say they're getting closer to the ground, they're going forward bend and right side bend. They're doing them simultaneously as they open, okay? So we have to put these pieces together so you can feel what it feels like to get the impact. The best way to do this is through rehearsing your impact position. We did a video called Improve Your Iron Contact or something like that by doing impact drills that goes over the same sort of thing. You might have seen some other coaches, like George Gankis does a lot of impact drills. Really, really good. Everyone can do these. So what you want to feel, one more time, kind of our checklist. Normal setup position. I'm gonna open my belt buckle, I'm gonna open my rib cage, I'm gonna get me down, chest and right shoulder, and I'm gonna bend my right arm more. Now as I do that, I want the hands to be kind of over the inside left thigh, or kind of over your left shoe as you do. That's where your handle should be. In terms of the angle this way, the butt of the club is gonna be at about your belt buckle, maybe slightly vertical of that. So again, one more time, normal setup. I'm gonna open my pelvis. Now as I'm opening my pelvis, my hands aren't going with it. I keep the club head on the ground. I'm gonna open my pelvis, meaning as I do this and my rib cage, notice my hands go forward by themselves. If I keep the club on the ground and I open my body up, my hands go forward. So belt buckle open, rib cage open, upper body down towards the ground. How far down? Go pretty far down, and then don't guess. Have live view, record yourself. So I'm here like this at impact. Chest and right shoulder, boom. And now what I want you to do is feel what that feels like. Make sure you look how you're supposed to. Reset your setup and try and get back to that same position. And record yourself doing the pose, and then record yourself doing the hit. You're in all likelihood not gonna be as far open and down on the hit as you were when you did the rehearsal. That's normal. See that so you know, so you have to exaggerate more. But you should be more like the rehearsal than your before swing. So if you did your normal swing and you have like no rotation and you're standing straight up, and you do the rehearsal way open and way down, and your actual swing gets halfway there, that's excellent, right? You just cut in half what you have to do. Now you have to exaggerate more. Look at the pieces. Did I open up enough? No, okay, let me do that more. Did I go down enough? No, let me do that more, right? And then you're just giving yourself feedback. Again, same thing, normal setup, pelvis open, rib cage open, chest and right shoulder down, right arm bent, hand is forward, my head stays on the wall that I started on. I'm not going back like this. My head stays on the wall I started on. That's what I'm feeling. Should be a little exaggerated. Normal setup, and then get back there in my swing. And what I'm trying to do is just get back there. I'm probably starting with a short iron. I'm doing half swings like always and building my way up. I'm looking at the video, seeing what wasn't right, and then improving that. You should, if you do it right, you should feel a difference in your compression and how solid you hit the ball. Why the pros are so good at hitting it all the time is because their body motions, almost all of them, are really good. They kind of get to these same spots. We've talked about that in some other videos. One more. Belt buckle, rib cage open, chest and right shoulder down, forward bend and side bend, turned. You guys with me on that? Hopefully it's not confusing. It's forward bend, right side bend. Okay, so if I go forward and then right side bend and turn, that's my impact position. I go forward, I add right side bend and turn, that's my impact. Okay, so I'm opened up here like this. I'm down, my handle's forward, my right arm is bent. Okay, good. I'm gonna feel that. Normal setup. And then I'm trying to go back to that spot. Now you can do that. You can also just go right from that impact position and hit shots like we talked about when we did that iron little impact rehearsal video. So you can go here, same things, rehearse that, and right from this spot, do a little half swing right from here, feel that, and just do a little bit of a swing from there. And last time I'm gonna say this, hopefully it sticks in. If you normally are not rotated, if you normally don't have good bends, it should feel wildly different than normal. When I show this to a lot of people in person, the first thing they say is, oh my gosh, that feels really different. And almost as though it's like a negative thing. It has to feel different. If you're trying to look like a pro golfer like this, and you look like this, you can't do anything that feels any kind of normal or comfortable. You need to feel like your chest is gonna kiss the ground. You need to feel like you're so rotated, it's completely ridiculous. Now, this works if you record yourself, because it doesn't matter what you feel. It does not matter if you feel like you went down a lot or opened a lot. All that matters is what did you actually do. So if you don't record it, you never know, you're guessing. Record it. Whatever you needed to feel that made you look like the pros, they're the pros for a reason. That's what you need to feel to get to that spot. So don't be foolish, please. Use video, exaggerate. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below, click the subscribe button, and also leave a comment down below. It really helps us out. The more interaction there is between us, YouTube likes that, sends our videos out to more people, really helps us. If you want to support the channel, you can click that little like button down there. Appreciate that. If you do like these YouTube style videos, we're gonna put a card on the screen for a very similar video like this. If you wanna hop over to Cogorno Golf, check that out, see what it's all about, work with me so I can help improve your golf game. We'll also put that on the screen. Thank you guys for watching.